Now, it wasn't until science in the 1800s when inventions got famous that science became news. They found dinosaurs and everybody was awed by it. They found different, things to try to prove their claims, and the general public was awed because most people were of a religious understanding that what are these monsters that you're showing us? That they were kind of funny. But storytelling was first brought to us by truth, and then according to a Viking novel I'm reading right now, it's a Norse myth that they created fiction, right? And they were actually the descendants of Dan, or the half tribe of Manasseh, the alternate half that didn't go into the land, and they left and they went who knows where, and who knows who is Hebrew anymore. But anyway, storytelling was first taught by God, then man copied, and everyone else who didn't know God didn't understand this concept, so they were just regurgitating what they thought was true. Until about the Christian era, when by that time many storytellers had come, but mostly they were either making things up in their head or whatever, and they were disproved, or many religions popped up and fall down and they disappeared. Like Peter mentioned one to the king, and he said, if we're just another fad, we'll pass just like those other people. And he, it was a generally good argument. So, sorry, a lot of sun coming in from this way. So, I need a stand and a podium and a desk and a lectern, or nobody's giving me that kind of stuff. Sorry. I'm all about facial expression, if you can't understand that, mostly because of the trauma that I have experienced in my life. Taught me to feel those positions in my face, and then it became fun because I had to deal with it. So what happens with torture and pain, eventually you can only be sad for so long before you have to turn it into a humorous event so you can process it, but it begins as confusion. Anyway, the point is, the storytelling brought in by science eventually brought fiction into the realm of the press. Invention, people, murdering each other, like the first serial killer, Herman Mudgett. Where did he get his idea? Obviously not until the Civil War did we kill multiple people at a time, and somebody who became a doctor became ultimately familiar with the issues in the 60s, after the 1860s, after the war, and doctors learned about blood and guts and gore, and apparently Herman Mudgett, knew right off he was about blood and guts and gore and wanted to kill people for the rest of his life. And other people were just fascinated with other things, inventions and blah, 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 and they went on with their life. And eventually the world of the heathen, if you will, or the anti-God position, the hater of God, decided to tell a story against God. This was decided upon by a royal secret society. Ultimately, it was to try to first undermine the government and then the school system. And they found out much later, if you aim at the children, it happens much faster. And now we're here to where we are today. Now, if I've lost any of you, sorry. I have a very high IQ, and most people tell me to slow down, but I need to get this down so I can write it down later. As storytelling comes along, it introduces trickery, magic, Houdini, all these guys, and we become fascinated with this whole world. We create television and, telephone and records, and we start, trying to recall everything we've heard, and then we get our DVD collections and we start grabbing every DVD, every story we've ever wanted, and we hoard it to ourselves, and we say, it's all mine, and we get a huge refrigerator full of food, because we are always about preparing for the future, because we have no trust, we have no faith. And if we had faith, nothing would matter. Measure that up against your life. Sorry. I do it every day, every moment, every breath I've been trying to practice. And it's very interesting how focused you can become when you know that God is your ultimate resource and everything else is a lie. And even dead rock stars, like those guys in the back, will tell you. I have all kinds of weird toys. I'm sorry. They sing and dance too. Maybe we'll show you next time. Bye.